When you hear Motown, your mind probably goes to Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, or the Supremes, those voices that made the world dance, cry, fall in love. But behind every one of those hits was someone you didn't see, someone whose name rarely made the album cover. And yet, without him, none of that music would have sounded the same. James Jamerson, the heartbeat of Motown, the bass player who changed everything without asking for attention. Every note he played carried the groove, lifted the melody, gave the song its soul. You didn't notice him at first, but you felt him. You moved because of him. You heard his fingerprints even when you didn't know his name. Some musicians chase the spotlight. Jamerson never did. He let the music speak, and the music spoke loudly. It spoke in rooms, in clubs, in dimly lit studios late at night. It spoke in every song you've ever danced to, without realizing why it moved you so much. James Lee Jamerson was born on January 29, 1936, on Edisto Island, South Carolina, a small town surrounded by water, sun, and silence. Life was simple, but the rhythms were everywhere. The church, the streets, the hum of daily life. His first exposure to music was both communal and intimate. Hymns in the church, jazz drifting from radios, the call and response of everyday conversation. All of it became part of his musical DNA. He moved to Charleston and then, as a teenager, to Detroit, a city alive with jazz, blues, and the promise of opportunity. It was a city of sound, clubs, record stores, street musicians. Detroit demanded more than talent, it demanded persistence, and Jamerson had both. He picked up the upright bass in school, big, heavy, demanding, and yet in his hands it felt natural. He was drawn to the instrument the way some are drawn to a calling. His first teachers encouraged him, but it was his own curiosity, his own obsession that shaped him. He listened obsessively to jazz greats, Ray Brown, Charles Mingus, Paul Chambers, not just for the notes, but for the soul behind them, the phrasing, the improvisation, the storytelling. Jamerson wanted that, not just to play bass, but to make it talk, to make it human. Night after night, he played in Detroit clubs, 6 nights a week, sometimes 7. No crowds, no applause, just him and the music. Learning, experimenting, feeling, developing a style that was fluid, expressive, daring, a style that would later define an era. When popular music began shifting electric, Jamerson adapted. He picked up a Fender Precision bass in the late 1950s. The tone was different, the feel was different, but he made it sing. And just like that, a sound that would change popular music forever was born. By the early 1960s, Jamerson joined the Funk Brothers, Motown's secret weapon, the uncredited musicians behind countless hits, and in the middle of it all was Jamerson. He rarely read charts. Most of the time, the producer would play the track once. That was all he needed, one listen, and he'd create something extraordinary, melodic, rhythmic, playful, precise, bass lines that moved around the beat, that danced, that told stories. You hear him in Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I Was Made to Love Her, Bernadette. The bass wasn't just supporting the song, it was shaping it, lifting it, making you move without even thinking. Sessions were intense, late nights in the Snake Pit studio, dim lights, smoke, coffee, Jamerson improvising brilliance on the first or even second take. The man was instinct, pure instinct. Producers like Berry Gordy and Smokey Robinson recognized it. They didn't always know how to describe it, but they knew the music was alive because of him. One moment, one note, and suddenly a song had groove, tension, and soul. Even when the band was tired, even when the sessions dragged, Jamerson's lines sparkled. Subtle slides, ghost notes, unexpected melodic twists. You could feel the song lift under his fingers. It was precision and chaos combined. Jamerson's sound was unmistakable. His 1962 Fender Precision bass, nicknamed the Funk Machine, labella flat-wound strings he never changed, one finger, just the right index, a technique he called the hook. That one finger did what most needed 2 or 3 to do. It gave his playing attack, warmth, unpredictability, human feel, alive. He treated the bass like a lead instrument, walking lines, dancing lines, phrases that felt like a horn or a piano, chromatic runs, syncopation, pushing and pulling the beat, notes outside the key, tension and release, always musical, always serving the song. Listen to For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder. Listen to What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. The bass doesn't just support, it breathes, it questions, it speaks. Jamerson once said, "I was just trying to make the bass speak. I wanted to play something that made the song come alive." And he did, every single time. He wasn't flashy, and he wasn't ego-driven. He built the foundation and let the song shine. Ghost notes, little slides, rhythmic pauses, tiny details you might not notice at first, but you feel them in your chest. That's the Jamerson effect. Consider I Heard It Through the Grapevine. The bass line walks with a pulse, a heartbeat, a sense of unease. It tells a story. You don't just listen, you feel. You're carried forward, even if the vocals haven't begun yet. That's genius. That's instinct. That's James Jamerson. Despite his brilliance, Jamerson remained largely invisible. Few knew his name. Motown wanted the brand, not the band. He struggled. Alcohol, health, personal demons, and yet he delivered brilliant session after session. Even intoxicated, he played lines that musicians still study today. The 1970s brought change. Motown moved to Los Angeles, disco emerged, simpler bass lines dominated. Jamerson's complex, jazz-informed style was less in demand. Work became scarce, money became tight. Still, he played because that was his life. Music was in his blood. Cirrhosis would claim him eventually. In 1983, at just 47, James Jamerson passed away, quietly, without fanfare, without headlines, but his music endured. Every record, every groove, every note. Recognition came late. In 1989, he was posthumously induced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Standing in the Shadows of Motown, the book, and later the 2002 documentary, gave him a voice. Bassists studied him, music schools taught his lines, tributes poured in. Jamerson's fingerprints are everywhere. Marcus Miller, Victor Wooten, Pino Palladino, every bassist who believes the low end can carry a song, tell a story, make you move. For a new generation, rediscovery was almost shocking. People studied transcriptions, watched videos, sat in rooms trying to replicate lines that felt impossibly human. The complexity was there, but also the soul. It couldn't be copied perfectly, it could only be felt. Jamerson shattered the passive, supportive bassist stereotype. He showed that bass could be emotional, melodic, commanding, a voice in its own right. The syncopated bounce of I Want You Back, the expressive runs in What's Going On, the tension and release in My Girl, every note a lesson, every phrase a masterclass. His influence spreads across funk, soul, R&B, pop, jazz fusion, even modern pop. Jaco Pastorius, Flea, Thundercat, Esperanza Spalding all owe a nod to him. Modern bassists often describe Jamerson as a revelation. One session, one line could change the way you approach the instrument forever. Jamerson once said, "I didn't know I was doing anything special. I was just playing what I felt. That instinct, that feeling, that obsession, that is what changed music forever." Take a moment with Bernadette. Listen to the opening bass riff. It's subtle at first, but it sets the entire groove. Each note has intention, each ghost note whispers a story. Without that bass, the song flattens. With it, the vocals, the horns, the drums, everything has life. Or Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The bass moves in and out, sometimes leading, sometimes anchoring. Jamerson plays in the spaces, not just the notes. He makes you feel the push and pull. The rhythm isn't just timekeeping, it's storytelling. You have to feel it, he said. If you ever play a good bass line, you can feel it in your bones. James Jamerson may not have been a household name in life, but in every Motown groove, every hit record, he is immortal. He gave soul its soul, funk its foundation, and pop its pulse. He turned the bass from a background instrument into a central storytelling voice. Intuitive, emotional, intellectual, deeply human. He wasn't just a bassist, he was a composer, an innovator, a quiet revolutionary. So, the next time you hear a Motown groove, close your eyes. Listen, you're hearing James Jamerson, the hidden genius, the heartbeat behind the greatest hits, the man who played with feeling, with fire, with freedom, the man who made music move.